This is the Marriage Podcast, and I'm your host, Alexandra Stockwell. I'm a physician turned relationship and intimacy expert, and I specialize in showing couples how to have incredible, passionate relationships. I myself have been married for 25 years. My husband and I have 4 children and full professional lives, and we've created an amazing relationship. If you want to deepen your understanding of your own relationship and learn to access new heights of emotional, sensual, and erotic intimacy, you're in the right place because I will show you how. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, this is Alexandra, and this is a reunion with new people to me because I have followed Suzanne and Satyen Raja for, a long time. I first met Satyen at a Peak Potentials event, I think in 2008, and then Satyen and Suzanne and my husband and I all happened to meet unexpectedly in Colorado, dropping our children off for a warrior camp for kids, which was a very profound, incredible experience. Maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't. There is so much to say about each of you, about your respective and collaborative spiritual journeys, relationship journeys, ways that you focus on your own development and ways that you really serve others. I want to express my admiration and ask each of you to share what you'd like my audience to hear.
Oh, thank you.
Well, let's see. Today I want to say, I want you to know that I am my beloved's beloved. And that is one of the greatest things that I could ever express and have the privilege to be.
I could consider this conversation complete because you've just said it. But before Satyen says anything, will you go a little bit further and share? Can be a poem, can be prose, however you like. What does that actually feel like? Because I think for many people, we can hear the words, but will you invite us into what it feels like to be your beloved's beloved?
Well, let's hear my sound. Hear my sound first. And know that it comes from the deepest part of my soul's knowing, my soul's wisdom, my soul's yearning. Ever since I knew myself, I yearned for what it is that I have now in the form of the one that is beside me right now, my husband, my beloved, my gift from God is what I have to say. True, because it truly is. I wished for him without knowing that I was wishing for him in particular. But God, or God force, whatever you call it, I feel like I have been truly blessed with a partner, a consort in this life. We call ourselves, we are each other's beloveds. Beloved means forever love, forever, beyond this life, into the next, and the ones beyond. And it's always been so. And so it's beautiful, Alexandra, that you started today by saying it's a reuniting, because it truly is. And for us, it's an every single time reuniting. And that's the blessing of relationship, divine relationship, and it's what we have.
Thank you. Satyen, what would you like people to know?
First of all, I'm really moved by what you just shared, Suzanne, and the depth that we're experiencing. My heart joy and invitation and call is for everyone listening to know that they have that capacity as well, to have this level of divine devotion, connection, passion, truth, ferocity, tenderness, and that it's not exclusive to us, that this beautiful gift of devotion is the heart of all of us, in our own unique way, in our own unique play. And so I invite us all to drop into this crucible of love that is an awakening force, and a force not just for relationship, but for all relationships that ultimately serves all beings.
I love what you've said, and I'm going to say it in the way that I often do. It's completely different words, different vibrations, but I want to place it beside what you've said because I think it's fundamentally the same thing. And that is that I believe that having a fantastic relationship, particularly with one's beloved, but really with anyone, having a fantastic relationship is an entirely learnable skill. And the problem is that we lack education. So I'm devoted to providing that education. And clearly, each of you and both of you are devoted to providing that education. And I just love how you've evoked that.
Thank you so much.
I want to segue into something which is just as nuanced as one can be with the two of you. And that is, you posted something in your Warrior Sage Facebook group, Satyen, 8,000 members. It's a free group. Anyone listening can join. It was a long post. And at the end, you said, equanimity is not placidity, it's potency. And the reason that I want to pick that comment out is so many people function in relationships by compromising towards themselves, compromising on behalf of their partner, compromising because of their partner, and it creates a kind of neutral tolerance.
Yeah.
And from the outside, that can look actually very similar to equanimity. To the untrained eye, it can look like things are peaceful when there is invisible suffering under the umbrella of compromise, and when there is equanimity, which is not placidity, it's actually potency. And knowing that the two of you work with masculine and feminine polarities in such a deep way, I wonder if you would comment on the potency in equanimity, particularly in contrast with compromise and that kind of neutrality. Is my question clear?
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Very beautiful and very real and very apropos for today. Well, first of all, as a couple in relationship, we are facing, not just us, but everyone is facing around the world, an intense period, an intense time of emotions being pulled, yanked, evoked, shaken, rattled, rolled. We've got COVID, we've got economies, we've got politics, we've got every macro level of tension is happening on this planet in a very concentrated way. And to even find equanimity and oneness and a state of equilibrium in the midst of that, I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges individually and as a couple, as a team. For me, what I found is that there's so many things that are trying to grab our attention every day. News, headlines, news, just spilling things that are evoking and calling our presence, calling our units of attention. And from the warrior's path that I've learned, our attention is the most precious thing we have. And so my practice, and Suzanne joins me in this practice, is we let all the things that are grabbing at our attention, from macro all the way down to our kids complaining about something, we allow the energy around that to fall away from us. We turn down the dial of importance on it. It's always trying to make, this is important. You need to bring your presence here. This is urgent. We aim to, whatever thing is evoking even a sense of urgency, we turn that dial down. We breathe. We come back to our hearts, first of all, our own heart, which I believe at the core is always in a settled place. If we really feel deep enough, and then we feel for each other's heart. And then we cleave to each other's heart. We bond to each other's heart. When we come to this place, we know within each one of us, there's a magnanimous nature. And when we come from that magnanimous nature, naturally our energy goes to the most highest, cleanest space of being. It's much easier said what I'm saying than done, but it's worth the cultivation and the daily renewal of practicing that. And I feel we've created a home, Suzanne and I, in the heart with each other, that whatever craziness is happening, micro to macro to personal to whatever the heck it is, that we can come back to this temple, this sanctorum that we have with each other. And that's the source of our equanimity. Everything, we're all going to die at the end of the day, no matter whatever it is. And so knowing that mortality is already inherent, who are we that's beyond that? Who are we if all those concerns were dialed all the way down? And to me, that's the starting and the seat and the source of love.
Do you want to add? Of course, it's complete, but do you want to add your voice to that, Suzanne?
Yes, I would love to. Absolutely. So how I want you to picture this, because for me, it's all about dance is part of my life, movement, dance, all of it. And I see life through dance. So if you can picture tango dancers, just really hot, sexy dancers, there is no compromise when you see tango dancers. They're not compromising in any way. They are strong, powerful beings. Both of them, both partners, they both choose to be in the dance. They step in and they decide that, you know what, we are here fully, 100%. We take 100% responsibility for our choice to be in relationship, to be in this fabulous dance that we call relationship. And the moment that I've heard somewhere, someone said, it's not that you get distracted, it's that you lose focus. And so your choice to be focused in and to cleave to this relationship and to be in there for the sake of both of you and for the sake of the relationship and the highest evolving of that is what we choose each and every time. And it's a joy when we realize that it's a choice. We're making this, and if we do choose, we're choosing it. And wow, oh my gosh, we've chosen it. And now everything is conspiring for us in relationship. And so then it's just an absolute, it is potent. As my beloved has said, it is potent. It's potent, extremely so when you choose and you know you have the power to do it and you take it for your relationship. Wow, that's passion right there.
And I just want to add to it, it's a daily renewal. It's like we've got 24 hours. We're going to be awake, let's say 16 of those hours, right? It's waking up in the morning and starting all over again from zero, consciously, letting whatever has been done yesterday done. This is the day I have. And how can I be in the fullness of who I am with my beloveds, with my children, with my mission, my purpose? And then at the end of the day, I rest it. I might not wake up in the morning. I've had recent losses in my life, very close losses, and I might not wake up in the morning. It's not just a philosophical idea. I'm living it. And so having that depth of reality of sink in, the preciousness of what I have right now is so bright and so alert. And I'm inviting and challenging everyone to make every day the day of relationship. The morning is the marriage and the honeymoon, and the rest of the day is the honeymoon and the life. At the end of the day, it's the end of life. What would that day look like? And even though it's altruistic, yes, we can reach towards that daily.
That's so beautiful. And I have in my mind one of those exquisite slow motion National Geographic videos of, coming out of a chrysalis to become a butterfly, or any kind of natural process, a seed that germinates and grows, and being able to see it faster than it happens, but also slower than it happens in a National Geographic video. And I would love to invite you to give us the equivalent view into how that works in the actual moment. Maybe your children are 2 and 4 years old and they're squabbling or cranky, or one of them spills something, or maybe they're 22 and 24 and they have things which are very urgent to them, even though the two of you are in the middle of a conversation, whatever scenario, adolescence, whatever scenario you like,
Yes.
how does it work in a way that is both poetic, but also really like a step-by-step, crisp scientific manual?
Very good. Great question.
Great. That's really great. Well, I would start by saying, you're going to fall on your face a lot of the time. Okay. So we are giving you a map. We're giving you a destination that is possible. We're giving you what it is that we aim to practice every single day. And when we remember moment to moment, and take what we say with, take it with a sense of possibility and
It's beautiful.
lightness of being, and know that each one of us is human, and that things will happen and you will get thrown off when you have the best of intentions. So first and foremost, be kind to yourself and compassionate with yourself, and know that you've done your very best up until now. So that's the first thing that I want to share. And just take a deep breath with me before we go into this. Yeah. And really, that's where I begin, is from a place of self-care. Because if you can't care for yourself, if you're not taking care of you first and foremost, there's no way you're going to be able to pull yourself together to help anyone else. And so self-care would be at the top of the roster. Be compassionate with you. Know that you are perfectly imperfect, and that give yourself a lot of that. And then when the time comes, when you are in relating with others, your partner and their children are there, and someone screams, "She's done this to me," or "He's taken this from me," or whatever it is, then you can stop and you can center yourself. Come back into center. And well, I would love my beloved to take it from here. I will start with the self-care, and we'll do this as a team.
Suzanne does this beautifully in the morning. She wakes up, so step by step, she does her meditations, her dance, she does a self-beautification ritual, goes for walks on the grass, connects with Mother Nature, connects with her body, and then she starts going around and meets me. She'll then come into my room. I have a separate room, and my own room, the warrior's room, which is very stark and simple,
where he has been taking care of himself and his depth and his connection to source, which is extremely inspiring to me as his partner in life, because I can actually feel him choosing to go into his center and his power. I can feel that, and that enriches our space, and it gives us that fountain of energy and strength that we will need for the day.
It polarizes, it adds polarity, artful, divine polarity in our relationship. So my first practice is in the morning. After I wake up, I brush my teeth and I go sit down, and then I do an hour of meditation. And the type of meditation I do is not any type of willful meditation. I just connect with source, and I offer my breath, my body, my mind, my emotions to source, and allow source to be in a dyad of connection with me. And then it's magical every day. I don't know what that brings, but I always feel centered, and that depth of being then carries through my day. I don't come to source under duress. I start with source to face the challenges of life, to face all my doings that I have to do. So that's how we start in the morning. And then a very practical thing that I want to share with you that's been very powerful for me as a practice with my young adult children, and even when they were younger. And when I forget it, I feel it right away. And what it is And this is the toughest part, because they come through us. We know them right from birth. We were cleaning their diapers and doing all of that. So we feel we know them better than they even know themselves. And I realize it's actually not true, that they're recreating themselves daily. So my practice now with my young adult children is literally, I have to go, okay, I reset myself when I know I'm about to first meet them. I know I'm going to call my daughter on the phone. I'm going to see my son in the house sometime. I say, I don't know them. And I want to know this person brand new. And if our children don't even know themselves as yet, many of us adults haven't even found ourselves fully as yet, how can we know who our children are? So I try to come from a place of I don't know them. And when they see me looking at them with this freshness, not with all my preconceived ideas of, son, you should do things this way, because I would fall into those traps of wanting my son to follow the speed of how I attain certain things in my life and the successes I've had, and try to direct him and this. But it always had pushback, always. And I had to start surrendering that and go, you know what? I don't know his path. And I don't know his cadence of how he needs to move in life. And I don't know his path of unfoldment. And I'm going to be in the mystery as an observer and a support system to his unfolding at his cadence, at her cadence, in the patience that they need, in the newness that they need, with my fresh eyes. When I see them with fresh eyes, they get to see themselves with fresh eyes, not with the judgment and the expectations of how I knew them even yesterday. That's been really powerful for the dynamic with my children, like very powerful. And it's made us closer, tighter. They're opening up even more than they've ever opened up. And I think, and I've been doing this with young children, nieces, and I just look at them, because even if I don't see them for a week or 2 weeks, because the uncle comes 2 weeks later, they're brand new, the amount of evolution they're going through. So that's the humbling that I aim to practice, so that I can be in new relationship moment to moment.
I love hearing you say this, Satyen. With one of my children, he and I had a lot of challenging exchanges, challenging interactions when he was a teenager. And he then went off to college and would come home on his breaks, and everything would be very peaceful. And then suddenly that energy and that complicated fire would flare up inside me. And he pointed out that I was the one who was turning the conversations, and I was, because I was responding to who he was in high school. That when he said something as a sophomore in college, I was responding the way he would have meant it if he had said it as a junior in high school, when it was very complicated. And this was the most profound teaching for me. It's the one you've articulated that just now, that I was the one in the past, and it would have summarily ruined our relationship for the rest of our lives if I hadn't found my way to the wisdom that you've just articulated so clearly.
And as Suzanne was emphasizing regarding compassion, everything we're sharing is way easier said than done.
And it's still so important to say it. I just love how you presence that, Suzanne, that this is the sharing of what's possible. So not to hear it as a burden or a standard, but as an invitation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to also share, for instance, even in your example that you were sharing about your son, or anyone in any relationship, this goes for you with your children, you with your partner, you with anyone. The moment you start to feel an irritation, an upset, something that they've said, and suddenly you're just spinning out, take a moment, just hold yourself, and can you just give that love back to you? Just pour some love back into you, because what it is you're feeling is not what they have said or done, but what it is that you're feeling is something that had you pull away your heart, pull away your love. In a split second, something happened and you pulled away your love. And when you pull away your love, that is the greatest pain. That is the greatest pain. And often we feel we need to pull away our love to protect ourselves on some level. And we feel like we need to protect ourselves when we've forgotten that we're already so full of grace, so full of being held and connected, and we've forgotten that. And so just to take your hand, put it on your heart, and just hold it there and just say, I got you. I got you. You're going to be okay. I got you. And just give that love to you. Suddenly, when you're filled, everything, the scene changes. What you saw before isn't the same scene. It becomes almost beautiful, no matter what it is, because it is that is the thing. It's the separation of your connection to love is the big, it's the only thing. We have a friend that I have to say his name. Do you remember?
Fantuzzi?
Yes, Fantuzzi, a friend by the name of Fantuzzi,
Beautiful
great artist.
musical artist.
He wrote a song, and the words are, it's either love or a calling for love. And that's all it ever is. Really, really.
Wow, how magnificent. I love to ask all of my guests the question, and there's a way in which everything each of you has shared already is an answer, but I'm going to ask it explicitly because I absolutely believe that the ultimate vehicle for personal growth is relationships. So I'd love to hear, Suzanne, what have you learned about yourself as a result of being in relationship with Satyen?
Oh, what have I learned about myself? So many things. Let me try and zone in on something. God, really, and I don't mean to be cheesy today to whoever's listening, but I really am a manifester, because calling in this incredible human that I get to call my love, calling that in from a very young age and having this manifest in my life is damn great manifester. That's what I'd say. I've learned that about myself. I'm gonna take that one.
That is amazing. And I can see how that would color absolutely everything else.
Yeah.
Amazing. Satyen, what have you learned about yourself as a result of being in this magnificent relationship with Suzanne?
The core is that through her inspiration and nourishment is that I have meaning and purpose, and my mission and my offering has real value in the world and needs to be given. Right from day one, when we met years ago, over 35 years ago, she shared with me, I'll live with you in a cardboard box because I believe in your mission. Doesn't matter what wealth, external things we have or not have. It's all like secondary, tertiary. The only thing I care about is that. And she's been fanning the flames of my deepest purpose and mission. And so without her, I don't even know if I would have that sense of personal, that I am making the impact, if it wasn't for her being a soul, spiritual wife cheerleader to who I am.
It's so magnificent. And I was at a workshop you led in rural, northern, remote Canada. And the thing that I remember as you tell this is I think it was Suzanne telling about eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every night in order to facilitate whatever transformational process you were going through, Satyen, so that you could be free of being a provider and could go inside and then birth all of the gifts you've birthed. But it's somehow, hearing your story, one of the things that stuck was those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that was one of the sacrifices of those years.
One of the royal meals, one of the royal meals from the heart.
Yeah, but I think it was such a perspective. One of the reasons it sat with me, it's not because I have a special relationship one way or the other with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was more that it made it so practical that we can talk in very grandiose terms about supporting one another and wanting the other person to pursue their dreams. But when it means months on end of eating peanut butter sandwiches, that makes it really concrete.
We came from humble external origins, but within, we've always been in the heart of abundance. And, Suzanne's willingness to see what really is of value in me and in the world has helped me see that and grounded me in that. And that's eternal wealth, priceless.
Absolutely. And I was really excited to hear before we started recording that you're going to be doing gatherings, online gatherings for couples, teaching these things. Will you say something about that?
Absolutely. Well, Suzanne and I have been feeling the call to share about our relationship teachings, the practices, the cultivations that we've been doing, and we'd love to share that. So if anyone would like to find out when those are, please come to our website, which is warriorsage.com.
That'll be in the show notes.
Get yourself on the email list and look out for the subject lines. You'll be invited to when we do these live Zooms. They'll be available for anyone for free. We'll also have some for singles as well. And it's our opportunity to share where we're at now in relationship and to be of service to those couples who want to really take it to the next level of being and connection and vitality and oneness.
I'm so glad that you're doing that, because I really think one of the biggest needs for couples is to know what's possible. And so what you've just described is sharing what's possible, because you've created it.
I want to share one last thing. And
okay, good.
I forgot to tell you at the beginning that we have a new book that's just come out, and it's called The Path of the Warrior Sage. It's a coffee table art book.
Oh my goodness, it's magnificent. I want to describe it. It looks like modern art and architecture and photography, the most incredible contrasts, some crisp images, some dreamy images. That is amazing. I wish everyone could see it, and I guess they can if they purchase it.
Absolutely. So this is going to be available on our warriorsage.com site, and it's an oracle, and there's many writings here on succinct, powerful relationship, sexuality, all these things that we've been talking about. But you open it wherever you're drawn to, and it gives you a potent dial-in on whatever you need to experience that day and to support that. So I just wanted to share that, and you are going to get one of the first copies in the world. Okay.
Well, I am so excited about that. And I want to just ask one quick question, because it looks amazing. And then hearing what's in it, it looks like an incredible coffee table book. Is that the kind of book that you could have no matter the age or who the reader is? Anything about sex is adequately sophisticated?
Yes. And it's available for anyone can read this.
Okay, well, that looks like the antidote to all that distraction in the world. It looks incredible. I'll be sure to post a picture when I receive it. So any other concluding thoughts for this conversation?
Oh, yeah, maybe today's word is potent. And this experience, this time with you, Alexandra, is potent. And those who have chosen to listen to you and to sit and listen in on this conversation here today, allow the potency of this to plant itself within you and take action. Take action in your relationship. Do something that you've heard today for the highest evolution of yourself, your relationship, your family, and be happy. Just be happy and grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Marriage Podcast. Please rate and review the show on iTunes. It really makes a difference. And if you have a question or a comment, reach out to me via my website at alexandrastockwell.com.